What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? I am trying to get this daggone. I'm trying to get this tech stuff together as far as just the upload. My good buddy Luke Prince gave me a edited version of the attack with profanity blocked out. Then I went in and started blurring Stu's face, and then I did a nice compilation with just a whole bunch of stuff that I want to talk about and review. And I wanted to give a health update from a wrestler, and so I wanted to go through all of that. And so hopefully we can get this loaded up ASAP. I might just go to the questions before then because I really want to get into this. I really want to get into this, and trying to upload it on a couple of outlets, but it's just taking forever for my stuff to load. And I've been trying to load this thing for over an hour now. Over an hour. And so it just got stuck in YouTube clouds. And so yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We're going to get it together. Until this thing loads up, go ahead and share the link. Share the link, ladies and gentlemen. Always good to see you as well. Always good to see y'all. We already got questions going up, and I'll address those soon. Be sure to share. It looks like people are loading up here. You know, we have a great time here on PMP every single week. We vibe. We just have a great time, and we're adults. We respect each other. And hey, agreements, disagreements, it happens, man. It happens in life. People agree, people disagree, but it's okay. But because that is a good space to be when adults are being adults. And it makes life so much better. So hopefully we get these this stuff uploaded, man. I don't know why in the world it's taking forever, but hopefully we get that rocking and rolling really, really quick. It says it's at 18% right now. So I probably will address the questions first. And then I'll get into hopefully by that time the video will be loaded. I've got fast upload speed, but for some odd reason, and it's only like 25 minutes. So I have no idea why it's taking forever to do this. So yeah, we got some stuff to talk about. We always hashtag AskDoc is the way to go when it comes to that. Hashtag AskDoc is the way to go. I'm trying to get this stuff loaded up here. And hopefully I'm trying to do it a couple of ways, and because that was the crux of the show today, so I really want to get this done. Right now it's at 20%, so the only thing I need to do is just it's just I don't know why it's not uploading. It's on my phone. My editor was on my phone, and it's usually really quick and easy. I've uploaded things many a times, and so I'll find a way. I'll find a way. I'm sure that y'all are techies out there, knowing what to do. Right now, it's at a standstill. I'm trying to upload the video that I edited on my phone on Drive, and I'm trying to make it a YouTube unlisted link. I'm trying to do two things at once, and both of them are just standing here. So yeah, we're gonna fix that hopefully soon, and hopefully we get it done. Because right now it's literally on my phone. It's literally ready to rock and roll. It's literally ready to load. Usually Drive works just fine, but it is taking forever to load. Let's see here. So I'm sure there's lots of people in the chat right now. So do me a favor and let me know what I need to do to get this stuff uploaded in order for me to watch that. Because right now it is literally uploading, but it's been stuck on 20% for a while now, unfortunately. So that's the joy of this beautiful technology that bothers me. Me and technology, we don't really have a good relationship. We just don't. It bothers me. I don't like it. It gets on my nerves, and that's that. So there we go. All right. Until then, let's get to some questions. We got Mado, AskDoc. Thoughts on if Cody would have been caught fighting Travis Scott looking for a receipt after the slap from Travis? IWC would have thought it was okay, and good luck to OSU. Well, you daggone right. Good luck to OSU. You daggum right. Shout out to Black Bart, R.I.P. Black Bart, my man, friend of the show, probably the most popular person of in Pancakes and Power Slams. Man, that was such a beautiful, beautiful gesture for Black Bart's wife to call me and have me be one of the first people to know about his health update. It wasn't just his death, his unfortunate death, but it was just she called me several times and gave me updates. And so he was really touched by being on PNP, y'all. I don't think y'all really understand that as much as we'll get to Travis Scott stuff, but I don't think y'all realize that as much as you should, as far as just PNP. PNP really created a platform and an avenue for Black Bart to really feel alive again in many ways. I mean, I had a knack for contacting people who don't get many interviews, but I felt like had a wealth of knowledge. And he there was a bunch. There was a bunch of people. Bill Dundee was one of them. Greg Gagne was one of them. There was just a bunch of people that would just end up being good friends with, and just would pick their brains. And I remember calling old Black Bart, knowing people in the industry. Somehow I got his number. I don't even remember how, but somehow I got his number. I think I was doing a tribute to GWF one day, and just was a wrestler knew a wrestler knew a wrestler, and I got his number somehow. And I talked to him. He was so inviting. He was so inviting, man, just right off the bat to start talking about old wrestling stories and about his faith. And we just hit it off. We hit it off the first time we talked. I never forget. I was at the gym when he called me, and we just talked. I'm not a big fan of talking on the phone in the gym because I get zoned out. But I remember talking to him and stopping. Like, I was still working out, but I wasn't really focusing that much. I ended up working out after I was on the phone with him. But I really started focusing and concentrating on our conversation. It was such a good conversation, man. We just hit it off from the very beginning. And he was on PNP multiple times, and always would say a dadgum thing you can do about it. And yeah, we would just talk. And we would just talk away from wrestling stuff and just catch up on each other. And then we end up being he ended up asking me to be a Facebook friend, and he would just randomly check in on me, and same with me. And yeah, it was just a really good it was just a really good relationship that I built with the old Black Bart, man. So PNP, y'all don't realize how much y'all had a hand in being so instrumental into making Black Bart feel alive again when it comes to his contributions to the pro wrestling industry. Because a lot of pro wrestlers they get to a point where they get caught, they're gone of the days of yesteryear and on with these new wrestling fans that like kicks and flips and things like that. And, hey man, that's if that's what's on your plate, that's what's on your plate. I mean, I have my criticisms, and I've talked about that many times. But at the same time, I respect the days of yesteryear wrestlers, as he would say. And I was a big fan of that. And I contacted him. He contacted me, and it was just amazing, man. It just really was amazing. And I was just so blessed to have a relationship with him. And PNP, y'all deserve a round of applause for being so involved and being such an integral and a significant part of that process of making old Black Bart feel alive again. And ain't a dadgum thing you can do about it, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's talk about the Travis Scott stuff. The Travis Scott stuff, IWC thinking that Travis Scott, Cody would have been caught fighting Travis Scott looking for a receipt. You know, the Travis Scott. I was defending the Travis Scott affiliation, not all the way, but some way, some of the way. I was defending the Travis Scott stuff some of the way, and so the thing about that was the reason why I was defending the Travis Scott stuff was mainly because it aesthetically looks good. It aesthetically looked good because it was a three-man type of deal, and three-man feels more like a gang mentality than two. And so that was my defense for Travis Scott being there. I think it was an odd pairing, but only because it was more of a gang mentality, and that's what they had, and that's the type of feel that they had. That's really it, honestly. But when they, as far as him talks about him competing and all of that, man, it's like, uh now that's when I drop my pseudo, like, semi defense. I'll say that's when I dropped my semi defense when they started talking about that, because I'm like, okay, what are we doing now in the WWE? Are we to a point where only thing you have to do is just be a celebrity and or have a bunch of YouTube followers and you jump the line? Now, I would defend Logan Paul because he gets it, he wants it, he's a pro at it, and you can tell that he absolutely wanted to perfect the craft of pro wrestling, and it's crazy. It is phenomenal and hard to describe how much Logan Paul has adapted so well to the industry, man. Like, he's done phenomenal when it comes to that. So he's definitely the exception to the rule when it comes to someone who actually, you know, looks and feels like a legitimate pro wrestler. Like, Logan Paul is a pro wrestler, and he's been doing a great job at it. But Travis Scott, I mean, you get a little bit of training, and the thing is, I've said this before, the crossover effect. I'm not I'm not opposed to it from a business standpoint. They've been doing that forever. I mean, with Cindy Lauper and Mike Tyson. I mean, like, that's been. I mean, WCW with Carl Malone and Dennis Rodman. That's something that they've been doing for a long time, man. So I don't. That's business. That's just business, and that's a way to put more eyes on the product. I don't have an issue with that. But when it comes to, like, you already gave Cody Rhodes a black eye, and for some odd reason, you come out there. There's no Rock, but Travis Scott's the scapegoat. It was just a very odd payoff to that whole thing, man. It was one of the worst payoffs to a WrestleMania angle. I would argue in the history of the series. I would definitely argue that. Danimal, what's up? Happy Wednesday. Becky Lynch might be in hot water after the Aussie comments she made. Kelly Osbourne calling on WWE and Becky. Do you think Becky was out of line, or was it justified for heat? Here's my honest, and this is my opinion. This is my honest opinion. First of all, Becky Lynch put Ozzy Osbourne over. She trashed the city. That's what heels do, ladies and gentlemen. That's what heels do. Okay. Period. That's what they do. So, with that being said, um, she absolutely did what she was supposed to do to maintain the heat that she was supposed to receive. She balanced it well. She said the only thing that came out of Birmingham is dead. I mean, Ozzy Osbourne is dead. It was, to me, it was an homage at the same time getting heat. And so, you know, all, all, back in the day, all is fair in the name of pro wrestling, but nowadays, you got to be careful before you get canceled. I mean, that's where we're at nowadays. I don't think it was a straight up just like tasteless comment. I think it was somebody who take pride into being a heel, and they got heat. I mean, what else you expect to do to draw the ire of the crowd? That's someone who understands the business. The purpose of a heel is to get heat because the heel is supposed to put the baby over. That's what the heel is supposed to do. So the more heat the heel gets, the more they become hated, and then the baby beats them, and then that goes all the way to the baby. The baby gets cheered, and now the baby elevates. And now the heels are heels, so they can come back the next day, cut a promo, and still get that type of heat. That's 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 the industry, man. That's the industry. And if you don't know the industry like that, I mean, you got your comments, but people don't know the industry, and people do. People do should understand, what it's all about. So, do you think that James? Do you think the Benoit tragedy had anything to do with why wrestling is the way it is now? I remember storylines getting super bad a few months after, with the talent WWE had back then. No, I don't think so. I don't think that had anything to do with it. Uh, it the Chris Benoit tragedy wasn't a pivotal moment into like storyline development. Because if I remember, he was supposed to win. He was in ECW at the time. He was supposed to win the ECW championship, if I'm not mistaken, from John. I think it was him and the original match was him and Morrison, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, so that to me that's not pivotal to anything in history. Bobby. Oh, see, this is my wheelhouse. Absolutely. Right now the upload is 85%, and so we only got 15% left. And I'm gonna pull up. I spent a lot of time and effort in this editing this daggone video, putting 3 clips together, and I literally edited all of the profanity. There was a lots and lots of profanity in this video, and I spent the time right before my previous show that I just came out from. I spent a lot of time editing this daggone thing. So let's do it. I'm waiting for it to happen. So 88% right now. So it's almost uploading. Sometimes you have to delete and re-upload. I've heard about that before, and it looks like it's working. So it's almost uploaded. So it's almost there. So I'm gonna break that down a little bit more when I talk to that. But as far as just the mental state, the thing is, when it comes to someone, I don't know Raja, but I do know just how people feel when they feel like they need revenge. That's one of the biggest things when it comes to revenge. There's a couple of theories when it comes to revenge. There's the comparative suffering and the understanding hypothesis. And so oftentimes people, when it comes to the understanding hypothesis, I actually wanted to break down a book called On Retaliation. It's for what I've read of it so far, it's a solid book. When it comes to the understanding hypothesis, it's you oftentimes retaliate based on your perception of what is satisfactory. So, if someone decides to slice your tire, right? So tit for tat, like the comparative suffering would be, okay, I'm gonna slice your tire back. I mean, that's the hypothesis. But oftentimes, a lot of studies when it comes to revenge, it actually links stronger oftentimes with the understanding hypothesis, because with the understanding hypothesis, it gives someone the ability to, in their mind, think what is a justifiable and satisfactory form of retaliation that makes them feel whole in a certain way. So, for instance, in this particular case, the same thing happened. It was the same type of concepts. He got hit with the can. He was told by AJ receipt. So in his mind, a receipt wasn't just a punch, to the face, which that happens oftentimes when it comes to it's almost there. It's almost there. I'm trying to get it ready to rock and roll. Um Oftentimes it's not a matter of um having that type of one receipt. Like it's not like a okay, I'm going to punch him back, right? I'm going to justifiably punch him back, and that's it. That's it, right? And so that's the one thing that's has that one type of feel that you get to make the choice to do whatever you want to do, and you consider that satisfactory. So with Raja's case, now it's saying checking again. Okay, here we go. I think we got it. Okay, it's here. It's here. It's here. All right, cool. All right. So all right, so let's do this. I'm gonna break down understanding hypothesis before we get to the clip. I made the clip here. It's about a little less than 20 minutes, and I want to break it down. But when it comes to the understanding hypothesis, it's like, okay, so I feel justified when you understand my level of suffering. So as a result, I'm going to do what I feel that is just for you to understand the level of suffering that I was going through. Now, here's the thing with that though. When it came to Raja, and I'm gonna talk about this here in the clip. Here's the thing when it came to Raja. With Raja, he got hit by the can, all right, and Psycho Stu, he clearly said, "Are you going to sell it?" He apologized, but he was egged on, and that's the thing, man. That's the thing. Once you get egged on, it becomes a sense of pride that oftentimes come from insecurity. I feel like oftentimes I feel lesser than, and I'm even feeling more lesser than because I got one up by this wrestler. And so then AJ told him, get your receipt. He's not even a wrestler. He has no idea what that is. He's thinking in his head, payback. Okay, great. He was told before that, do what you do. Go ahead and punch him for real. Like there was even talks about that. He double legs him. He does all the thing. I'm going to play that here in a minute too. So, and then the kick stuff. Then he further gets egged on by his streamers, by his viewers during his stream on Kick, I think it was. So it could have been his brain could have went from, okay, we're cool, and if it was just that, it would have been just that. We're cool. Yeah, don't do that again. I'm not a wrestler. I'm not working. This isn't. I'm here with this guy. Apology is more than sufficient, right? He still didn't do it on purpose. He hit him with a can, and that's the thing. I waited for a while. I started to wait because I understand how PR works. Having a PR degree, it's good to just wait it out because someone can just jump the gun and make a comment and make an opinion about something, and they have to unravel it, and you can't really unring the bell, period. And you can change the sound, but you can't unring the bell. And so you have to really pay attention to the bells that you ring before you have to justify or apologize or do something like that. So I just waited it out, like I do a lot of stuff with these developments. And I was just like, let me find out, because I can see why like like Raja got the heat at first, and then Stu got the heat when he hit him with the can because people were saying, well, he started it, and then they were that and it shifted over to that, and then they started to add more videos of when he was saying, "Are you going to sell it?" Then they threw the AJ, the dude with the cowboy hat video in there too, as far as getting a receipt. Then they threw the kick video in there too. And so all of these the pieces of the puzzle started to form more of, okay, now I get it. Raja was very upset about what happened. And he thought that his receipt is, I'm going to beat the brakes off of this person because I'm going to get what I thought was a satisfactory form of retribution or retaliation or revenge. Those words are interchangeable, especially revenge and retaliation. So that was his thing, and he kept getting egged on. And it's one of those like it's that type of very negative peer pressure of, oh, you ain't gonna be no punk. You a punk if you don't attack him like that. Like you gonna just sit here and allow him to go viral off of your back, off of your face because he hit him with the beer can. He hit you with the you don't want he hit him with the beer can. You don't let him do that to you. So he's hearing all these voices in his head, and it's causing him to not really emotionally process them. So therefore, he's turning this type of very, very, very dark, very Machiavellian mentality that just kind of kicks in. I mean, it not even kind of, it kicked in quite a bit. And so, and unfortunately, I mean, psychopathic even. I mean, like it's dark triad for sure. And we saw what happened from that, unfortunately. And that was very unfortunate. All right, so here we go. Let's get through this. There's a bunch of clips that I put together here, so we can talk about y'all. Let's talk about this. Great question, Bobby. Fantastic question. Matter of fact, I think you might get the question of the night. Air horns. Yeah, man. You got the crown for today, man. All right. Let us talk about this, man. Let us talk about this. I edited this myself. Again, shout out to my boy Luke for the beginning of the video here. He sent me this with all the cuss words out or bleeped. You know, I'm a PG show over here, and then I edited the rest, put the clips together, did the transitions, and then I edited the other interview with the wrestler who pulled Raja out off of Stu, and there was a lot of profanity, so I had to spend a lot of time editing that out. So, all right, but here we go. We did it, y'all. It's here, and we did it. So let's go through all this together, man. Let's go through all of this together. Let's see here. Here we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Here we are. All right. Let's do it. So I'll blur that. We don't want that to be seen. 23 times, y'all.
Hey, you gotta stop this. Hey.
You see all that you see all that squealing and shouting. these are kids were attending this show. That's the crazy thing about this, y'all. There were kids at this show, little kids. And this is bizarre. And that's the thing, man, with when people get into that really dark depths, when they black out, when they have that type of blackout thinking, their sense of reason and ration, it goes out the window, man. And once you cross that threshold, it's really hard to get back from. It's really difficult to get back from. And he blacked out. He lost it, man. I think he got egged on, unfortunately, quite a bit about this. And then he blacked out, and you got kids screaming. And some J Brown on my show yesterday said that I said that, and we'll get to the pinning part. I inserted the pinning incident. I put in the pin incident in the middle of when after he said it, after the wrestler who pulled Raja apart. But some commenter yesterday said something to the nature of, well, that's what he was trained to do. That's what the pin, which was to me, that was like 1B and the worst thing that happened this whole night. Of course, Stu getting punched out was head and shoulders the worst. 1B was the fact that somebody pinned him. I will get to it. I think that was just the most vile, disgusting thing that someone could do. And of course, the other thing up there is the screaming kids. The screaming kids that is watching all this while you're not caring, and you're just punching that person. I mean, I think if there was, oh man, for the sake of you two, there's just, the sake of my faith, I will remain a godly man like I do with all these shows and in my lifestyle. But when it comes, let me say it this way. If there was a such thing as a gang beating as a form of punishment, I think that Raja, AJ, and that darn ref, and the person who went over to Stu, all of them should go out to the field and absolutely get molly-whopped. And I think that stuff like that, man, is just absolutely callous behavior, ridiculous. We'll get to
it. What actually happened to Stu?
So this is the person who pulled it off, the guy second to the left, to the far left, and we're going to go through this here. And excuse, I was going to blur out that guy's shirt, but I'm like, I'm already done so much, but excuse that guy's
shirt. Batter his injuries.
Broken facial bones is from what I'm hearing. Missing teeth. Has no recollection of what happened.
So that's the health update. There were some new developments, I think, within the last few hours too, but this was before then. This was one of the last health updates that the wrestler who pulled him off is giving here.
Incoherent. And then even from the people closest to it now that I'm disassociating with, they won't even put up the full story. Stu's pretty up. I'll put it this way. What happened yesterday is he choked on his own blood.
On his own teeth, I heard.
Yeah, teeth and blood.
And he lost all of his teeth, right?
A lot of them, yeah. Broken facial bones. He was out on the slam, and then the guy had made contact multiple times. I remember seeing that, kind of being in shock, and then I just went Side of that running in, there was other people that could have gotten involved that I made eye contact with, but they just stayed by the stage.
So how did you end up being involved? Because from what I understand, you weren't part of that match, that segment. How did you end up out there in the middle of the ring during this match?
I just got done with my match. I was blown up, took the heat, did. Then I get a whisper by somebody, hey, something's not right. I might need you to go out there and check a scenario. This guy's going to do a spot. I'm like, when does the spot happen? Oh, we'll let you know. We'll let you know. Well, you want to let me know, but like, you're not telling me when the cue is, when is the spot supposed to happen. You're just going to let me know just in case. All right, so I'm stuck waiting for this cue. I walk out to somebody with the radio. I said, hey, talk to the back. When do you guys want me to go? What's happening? I was informed about the beer can incident. Actually, shortly before that, they told me that they, made up, shook hands, hugged it out multiple times. So it was going to be fine, but they just want to make sure. I talked to the person up front with the radio. I walk back to the ring. I see the slam. I see the first punch, second punch. And by then I'm at people in front of me and I just start moving. I kind of wish I would have just sprung on like the slam. So that's where I'm at. I mean, honestly, there's nothing worse than you watch somebody you care about. He's a veteran. He's me. And these are people who are supposed to love him. And I'm the only one on the outskirts to be told to watch this, apparently. And then I'm in there and I'm battling. I'm doing whatever, trying to like work this. And I'm telling the guy to calm down. And now he's trying to fight me. It's all
So them telling you to watch this and get involved, if this was supposed to be an angle, it kind of doesn't make any sense because you have nothing to do with their storyline or whatever. It seems like they kind of wanted you there just because you're the only one who can shoot, which in wrestling means for real fight, right?
It felt like it. Like how you would use a dog. Like, hey, we'll send our to go do this.
But the fact that they told you to watch out and, be ready, and the fact that this had nothing to do with any of the storylines kind of shows that this was premeditated, right?
I think the premeditation part comes on the side of AJ Mana. You brought somebody that was volatile that you knew had issues.
So real quick, that's the friend of Raja who brought him to the
event. That's the small.
So that was in that clip right there was where he told him like, you're going to get your receipt and things like that. So he was the one who egged it on. He was the start there. That guy AJ could have easily talked Roger down just as much as he riled him up, because he could have been like, yeah, man, like he thought it was a work, man. He didn't mean no harm by it. He's a really, really nice guy, and he's cool. He's been here for a while. He was just thinking that it's part of the story, man, and that could have been very de-escalating. But now Raja in that clip there, he had permission to get his receipt. So of course he's going to get it because pride says you ain't gonna let that man hit you with a beer can. You gonna punk out and allow him to hit you with a beer can? I thought you was better than that, man. I thought you had more gonads than that. And pride has a mean way of diffusing rational behavior in just like that. And insecurity does too. And bad self-esteem does too. And it was a amalgamation of all of those things when it came to Raja Jackson on this night, man. And the thing is, once you get to a point where you black out like that, and when you get to that very violent, dark type of behavior, very, very, very violent behavior, it oftentimes gets to a point where you just lose it. Your rational threshold has been crossed. You've crossed the threshold from rational to irrational. And here's the thing, though. All of us are prone to get there. That's the reason why. And Mado said the main guy in this video is named the Epic Douglas Melo. And so the thing is, as he mentions here in this video, he needs to go to therapy. And I would even say, from a psychological standpoint, everybody is one decision away from going just very, very dark in their brain, the recesses of the brain, or as Freud would call it, the id. It's that's what we deal with. We deal with that id, and we deal with that desire in any moment to allow the id to talk, to allow that pleasure seeking part of our brains and a part of our psychodynamic structure to win. We allow it to happen. Everybody has an id, and everybody is one decision away from just saying, screw you, super ego. I'm kicking you. I'm flinging you off of my shoulder right now. And I'm paying attention to what the id does, because it's called the pleasure principle for a reason, because it's more pleasurable in the moment, although it has more costly consequences. It's more pleasurable in the moment. So you want that instant gratification. You want that immediate gratification. That's the reason why you had, that's the reason why you have what's called the Stanford Marshmallow Experiment, when it talks about with Walter Mischel back in 1972, I believe. That's when you had stuff when it comes to that, when it comes to immediate gratification versus delayed gratification. And even in children, it showed that conditioning your mind more to the concept of delayed gratification leads to better executive functioning, better decision making, better critical thinking, better problem solving skills, better emotional regulation. But because we want that immediate gratification, even from childhood, we don't rationalize as much as we should. And so we do things like forget about all rational thinking. Know that there's cameras everywhere. Know that if I do this is aggravated assault and battery, because it was physical. So you have aggravated assault and battery. It's battery because it's physical. Now, if someone like pulls a gun, or if someone has like a weapon, which is your hands, it's aggravated. It's that extra level when it comes to having weapons involved. But it's battery too, because it wasn't a threat of harm. It was actual physical harm. So this would fall under assault and battery. I have a master's degree in criminal justice with a specialization in behavioral sciences. So I know all about criminology when it comes to this stuff, and my PhD's in forensic psychology too. And so criminology is something that if you check my personal page, you'll see how much I really nerd out and get into when it comes to I talk about true crime on my other page. And so when it comes to this stuff, man, does this merit? Would this constitute attempted murder? I think that would be difficult to defend or to justify. But when it comes to aggravated assault and battery, I mean, that's clear. I mean, that's clear, man. So let's see more of what he's talking about. But it's really unfortunate. I'm gonna go through it for the second time. I'm gonna keep going through it.
Small calves, small chicken legs with the cowboy hat.
So this fight, whatever you want to call it, Roger Jackson.
Attempted murder.
Right. This attempted murder, he landed.
And again, that's why I was just saying, like, it's so here's the thing when it comes to attempted murder, and an attorney could throw that out, but I doubt that would be approved by a judge. Like I think that anybody can throw anything out there, but certain charges oftentimes get immediately dropped, or if there's plea deals and things like that. They'll talk it out and they'll have lesser charges. That happens quite a bit as far as like, here's the big charge. We want to start off with this charge so that we can aim higher for like a maximum sentence. So if it was attempted murder, say for instance, you can get, 15 to life for attempted murder. So say for instance, if it was if the max was 15, or if we're getting a minimum 15, or excuse me, if we're getting a minimum 15 for attempted murder, and then we go down to, now we have a ceiling instead of starting from assault and battery, which will only give you a few years, and there's less to work with. There's less to work with there. So if the charges are attempted, like if they're trying to throw an attempted murder charge, that could give him potentially more time, but most likely stuff like that usually gets dropped. But I wouldn't even, I even doubt that would even be on the table, honestly, attempted murder. But when it comes to premeditated assault and battery, I mean, he can get some time for that too. I mean, there's talks of like he may just get probation from it, but I mean, if someone's getting probation from what we saw there, I mean, does anybody feel safe at this point? I mean, that's where a lot of people are when it comes to this.
Like 20 something punches on him.
23
punches on him. You pull him off, and then he tried to go at you. So was he trying to continue beating him even further?
I think the culmination between his dad picking on him and all his daddy issues came out, and all the shit that AJ gassed up into his head. Because let me put it this way, I don't like Raja. I think Raja's a shit person for what he did, but I think AJ's a bigger shit person for gassing him up to be in that fucking ring, to leading him to ruin his own fucking life, to hurt somebody that AJ also has a fucking problem with.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a point there, man. He's got a point. AJ is the one who gassed him up. I mean, dude's 25. You know what I mean? Like his prefrontal cortex is at the point of being developed. He's usually between 24 and 27, but a lot of people in the psychology field, they say, a good number to say is 25 when it comes to your prefrontal cortex being fully developed. And so when it comes to that, you're expected to make rational decisions. You're expected to make decisions that are not irrational, and shows that you have a good level of executive functioning. So when it comes to emotional regulation, that's where your prefrontal cortex deals with. Also deals with decision making and things like that. So your prefrontal cortex should be developed at that time. So you should have rational decision making and emotional regulation. You should have that at 25. But at the same time, if there's a history of feeling insecure or feeling like you weren't good enough or things like that, stuff like that can delay the process of development of prefrontal cortex. So could that have played a part of it? It certainly could have.
Can't fucking tell me that's not. I don't believe in coincidence.
He was basically trying to put the blood on someone else's hands.
Exactly, because he's not going to do it himself. Mm-hmm. The few little backyard fights he fucking got in where he got beat the fuck up, and then you got somebody that's a real fighter, trained by somebody that's one of the greatest of all time, and then you had him do your dirty work. He ruined two people's lives.
So what happened when you got involved with Raja? Why did he want to keep going? Well, I know his chat was like gassing him up too, leading up to it, which we've talked about.
Another reason why live streaming is toxic.
Yeah.
Just goes to show.
When you're a man, you're in control of your life. If you do things for other men, you're there. You are not a man.
Basically
you're a puppet.
Doug, so what happened when you and him squared off?
I just went in there to stop it first, because I was kind of in shock. I saw Stu. I saw the punches. It felt like slow motion. I'm looking around. I'm looking at Stu's friends staring at me, not running in. I'm only running in. Somebody f***ing pinned Stu after he almost got beat to death.
Oh, absolutely despicable. Despicable. Despicable, man. Like when I was listening to this interview, I said, man, I have to put that clip in there because I want people to see it. I wanted people to see that pin. And that pin at the end should not be, that should have just as much publicity or at least slightly less than Raja and his 23 punches. That pin was wild. Somebody, after knowing that this guy is lifeless, he's lifeless and limp from getting assaulted. He thought that it was still a part. He felt like the wrestling industry in committing to the bit of being a pro wrestler was in that moment. You have to think about this. In that moment, he felt that the best thing to do, instead of checking on the health of this guy, he felt that the best thing to do in that moment was to go over and pin him because he wanted to get a 3 count. Think about somebody's level of security and level of self-esteem, self-worth, and just overall sense of self to go over and pin a virtually lifeless person. Are you serious? That was one of the wildest things that I've ever seen in my life in a pro wrestling match. Absolutely horrible. Horrible.
But they don't understand violence. They don't understand what's going on. They don't want to partake in anything. They weren't willing to save their friend. They would rather worry about their own image, their self, their match, or this. Sometimes the world stops. You could go to the store one day, be shopping for fucking groceries, and if you see an old lady get beat up and fucking robbed, you have to do something. Sometimes the world stops.
So that's true. That's true. However, there's a concept called the bystander effect, and it's correlates with what's called the diffusion of responsibility. Now, how our minds work, you'd think that that'd be the go-to thing to do, but it's actually not in many cases. Diffusion of responsibility is the bigger the crowd becomes, actually oftentimes less safer someone in an emergency situation, the less safer they become. Because if it was just like 1 or 2 people in an emergency situation, they feel as if they're responsible to make this person whole, to make this person safe, to have this person out of peril, for instance. So what happens is because if there's 2 people, if someone's having a heart attack or if someone, is getting assaulted and you're the only person around, if there's a conscience that you have that, like, I'm letting this person do this, or I'm letting this person die. And so you're the one that's going to be quick to go and make right and make good in this situation and get this person out of peril. However, when it comes to diffusion of responsibility and when it comes to the bystander effect, there's a lot of people and you feel as if because there's a lot of people, there's somebody that's going to help them. Now, oftentimes it's not even malicious, but you're like, yeah, there's someone who can help them, so I'm going to back off. Or I don't feel as urgently responsible to bring this person out of emergency situation or bring this person out of peril. That's how diffusion of responsibility works. And that's how the bystander effect works. So again, to his point, yes, you'd think that someone would just go and save somebody. But at the same time, when it comes to situations like this, ideally you would have everybody in the crowd go and bum rush this dude. But this guy was allowed to give, he was allowed to dish out 23 punches. 23 punches. You want to talk about diffusion of responsibility. That's it right there. Because ain't no way in the world he would have been allowed to, ideally, theoretically, there's no way in the world he would have been allowed to dish out those many punches. But unfortunately, he did.
So these people are sitting in the ring watching a man get beat to death that they call the friend. The people in the back are telling me, hey, can you go out there and make sure nothing bad happens? So now I got all this responsibility. But at the same time, if I'm AJ Mana, if I'm the people that told me to go out there, if that's the person I brought, or I know this whole situation is going on, I'd be right at the ring. If somebody told me that Ian had the possibility of having a fingernail being put out of place because somebody might be a little off in the ring, you think I would take a chance of my friend getting hurt? I'm breaking it up and he shoots a double leg on me. By the way, work a better double leg, you prick. And then I'm telling you to calm down. I'm not even fighting. I'm not even being hostile. Then you're trying to work and get lower, do this, change positions, and I'm over here having to swim with you, all this other. And
yeah, he was fighting him after. Like he's trying to get him off of him for safety for Stu, and Raj is trying to take him down too and fight him. He was really in a trance-like state. Like he definitely seemed like he started to get into a trance-like state for sure. Because that guy, man, he went bananas.
And you punch me in the eye after we're breaking it up, you loser. That's why you got headbutt, and that's why I punch you, and you're lucky I was tired from the match before this. What kind of person are you? You low life clown. You want clout, so you beat up a guy that's half unconscious. You punch a guy that's trying to break up a fight and not even trying to fight you. I wasn't even trying to hurt you. The is wrong with you?
So do you think he wanted to continue beating up Stu?
I think he would have killed him.
If you didn't stop it, right?
I promise you he would have killed him.
Now, here's the thing, man. That's hard. That's hard to argue. That's hard to argue, which, it goes back to the attempted murder, but, the attempted murder charge. But it's a commitment of attempted murder. Like you attempted to murder this person. He can easily be like, no, I just wanted my receipt. I just want to knock him out. But it was excessive. It is absolutely excessive. So that actually is very much against him, that it was so excessive. I mean, 23 punches. You're looking at you're sitting. I mean, you're in a position where you are hovering over this man here that you just did a double leg. You're in a ground and pound position, and you're looking at him, and you're punching him, and you see him get in a limp state. And that wasn't enough for you. You continue to punch him. Now that man, yeah, that is really difficult to defend, man. That is the excessive part. I mean, that could have stopped you from that could have took you from probation. That could have prevented jail time and could have kept you at possible probation. Now with the excessive stuff, man, that makes your case really difficult.
He would have killed me if he would have got the best of me. If he would have took my legs out from under me like he was trying to, he was going to do the same thing to me that he did to Stu. Clearly, you watch the stream when he's walking away. I'm tired of people fucking with me. I don't care how many times you've been fingered in your life, bro. I don't give a If you got a fucking problem with the fucking world and the people around you, change the fucking people around you. Change it up a little bit. Go to therapy. Get some fucking help. Don't take it out on everybody else.
Yes, go to therapy for sure. Go to therapy for sure. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to finish the rest of this. I'm going to continue to psychoanalyze this on the Patreon, ladies and gentlemen. So that's what we're going to do for now. And yeah, man, we're going to hop on the Patreon for the second time. So we're going to finish out. There's about 13 or so, 12 minutes left for me to psychoanalyze. And there's more to it because he starts talking about different things as far as just why he thinks he would have killed him. And definitely from a standpoint of what he thinks about Rikishi now. Will he come back like to Nox Pro? And he had a lot to talk about. So that is the update of Psycho Stu as far as his health update. There's some, from what I heard, there's some new things and he's recovering from the last thing I heard. But this is really, really difficult. This is really unfortunate. And I will say this, one person says something that I think is very true. He said that this is the wildest thing since the mass transit incident. And I think that that's pretty fair, actually. I think that's a fair take. So yeah, this is the worst thing that's happened within the past, nearly 30 years. And I think that that's true. And it's sad because this is one of those things that will absolutely not go away. It will go in the annals of history of being one of the most horrific, vile, dark, and sinister moment. And this is definitely a black mark in the history of pro wrestling. Absolutely. It is. And so I think that this is definitely mass transit proportions. And I definitely think that, some people would argue that it's worse than mass transit, but although I think both of them can be compared quite a bit together. Two very unfortunate circumstances, two, things that just went completely south and completely dangerous. It became very, very bad. And so, I think it has mass transit proportions for sure. And this is going to be in so many more documentaries. And I definitely think that the pro wrestling community as a whole wants to see justice for Stu. And I think that makes the courts, it makes it even tougher. It makes it even more difficult for Roger. I pray that Raja learns from this and he repents and he makes good as much as he possibly can with this situation and makes some money from MMA if he were released and give it to Stu's fund. Last time I checked, Stu was almost at $70,000 raised, so that's fantastic. That's great to see the pro wrestling community come together and band together for this cause. And so I think that is awesome. And so man, dude's a Navy I think he's a military vet, Army or Navy veteran that suffering from PTSD and wanted to use wrestling as an outlet for that. And it's difficult, man, to experience this only because he hit him with a beer can thinking that it was a part of a part of an angle. That's all he did, man. From the information that we received, the only thing that the man did was thought that he was a part of an angle with someone to make some money, like he was trying to do when he clocked in for the day. So tough situation, man, for sure. All right, y'all, we hopping over to finish this on the Patreon, patreon.com/ Pancakes and Power Slams, patreon.com/pancakes and power slams. Thank y'all for being patient with me today. Be sure to hit that sub, man. Let the listeners know about this, as I was able to psychoanalyze this situation. And that's what I do every single week on this show. I psychoanalyze different clips. And so if you have a clip for me, if you have, go ahead and DM me on Twitter at Chris Prolific. It has to be new, buzzing, and ideally less than 30 minutes. All right. So if it's an hour clip, send it to me well before Tuesday of the show, so I can look at it in parts and so I can take clips out of it. And so that's what we do here on PNP and have a great time every single time with my psychology classes. So thank you so much for your support. Hopping over to the Patreon. Let's do it, because I'm going to finish this stew video and talk more. And I'm also going to bring people on the screen. That's what we do on Patreon. We're going to bring people on the screen. We're all going to talk together, and we're all going to chop it up together as well. Thanks for coming out today here on the Pancakes and Power Slam show. Until next week, enjoy your week of wrestling. God bless, and always remember, I do it for you. Have a good night, everybody. So long.